So, hi everyone. Let me start by asking you one question. And please don't be shy. How many of you likes to be in love? Don't leave me hanging. I don't see your smiles. Okay, why is that? Why is that we feel so good when we are in love? When we are in love, we have the energy. We feel like we can move the mountains. We are positive, we are smiling all the time. We are also inspired. We kind of see world through different eyes. Everything seems a little bit better. We are also motivated. We're motivated to do things that normally we wouldn't do. When we are in love with that special someone, we would even go on bungee jump, even though we are afraid of heights. We are also focused on that person. We will find the time to spend the time with them. It will be our #1 priority. We will think about them. We will ask them questions. We would be interested in what they do, why they do it, what are their values, how do they like to spend time. And if you take a look at those things from the business perspective, you would like to have all those things on your job. You would like to wake up on Monday and go to work feeling energized, looking forward for everything that is coming. You would like to feel inspired after meetings with your colleagues. You would like to be free. You would like to do meaningful things. And you will like to be focused on those things that you really feel in your guts are important and that you need to work on. But, as always, love can sometimes be tricky. I know it, and I'm sure that you all know it. What do I mean by that? When we fall in love with somebody, we tend to have a blind spot for that somebody. We tend to see only positive things about them. We don't see their flaws. And one of the reasons why that happens is because love inspires us and it activates our imagination. I don't know if you've ever done this, but I have. So we start to build up a picture of that person in front of us in our head. We build a vision. We even go a step further and we imagine the future with them. Some of us even go a step too far and imagine how would it be to have kids with that somebody. And the fact is, when we go back to reality, sometimes we don't find the picture that we built in our mind. And we don't connect to that person, and sometimes we even end up disappointed. And if you take a look at that from business perspective, that's something that also happens to us in business. When we are so focused on our ideas and we build them up in our head and they become bigger and bigger, and we start to think about the impact they might have on others, on our lives, sometimes we miss to connect with the customers, and sometimes we miss to see all those things that are happening around us. Sometimes we even miss to see our competitors who are here to steal our customers. And that's why it's called a trap of falling in love with the solution. Because when you're in love with the solution, you are sensitive. When somebody tells you a feedback, you might find that as a criticism. When you go out and analyze your competitors, you will analyze only those who have similar solutions, but you won't see all those other companies from different industry that might have the position to fulfill that need and that problem that you are solving. And you won't connect with customers. You won't do a deep dive research about what they do, why they do it, what do they want. And it's a trap. And don't get me wrong, those feelings from the beginning, you want to have them, you need to have them. But imagine if we focus those feelings toward the customer, toward the needs, toward the problems, toward their values. Imagine if we fell in love with that, if we get excited about that, then we would be focused about getting to know the customer. We wouldn't connect with our solution so much, because if we are connected, then making decision is hard. You know that feeling when you invested so much into the projects and the time, the money, and then every decision, although you know it and feel it that you need to change direction, seems so hard. You cannot let it go. But on the other hand, if you're connected to the problem, then your solution is just a tool, and you're ready to change it, to tweak it, to upgrade it. Every feedback that you get, you consider a valuable information and input that will build your solution even better. And that's the thing with the trap, and that's the topic that I would like to discuss with you today. Last few years, 7 or something, I've been working in, as you heard, in the product development, mostly focused on digital. And I worked with different customers, the companies, the customer from different segments, and we used different kind of solutions, and we worked on different kinds of problems. Today, I lead a team of great experts, and last few year and a half, I've been focused on finding out how to set up great teams, how to set up the environment and the processes which will have in mind all those things and which will enable us to connect with customer on every step of the way. Because I really believe that investing time in people and the processes, outputs will be those products and solutions that will have success. So I will share with you some tips and tricks that worked for us. Those are the 3 most common traps or cases when you fall in the trap. The first one is the situation when you're focused on your product and you are so confident that you got it right, that you understand the need and your solution is working, that you don't see those other players who are here to steal your customers. One of my favorite examples of that is an example of content. So people always wanted to consume content. The thing that's changed over time is the format, how we deliver them content. So we used to go and rent a DVD, and today we don't do that anymore. And a lot of leaders in that industry thought that they know what they're doing and that there's nobody who will steal their business. And then the music streaming services came, Netflix came, and other OTT players who did deep dive understanding of the needs. Because what consumers really wanted wasn't just a consumption of music. It was to be able to listen music everywhere, anytime. It was to be able to create their list, their little corner of music they want to reach fast enough. They wanted to discover other artists according to their preferences. So it wasn't just that they wanted to consume music. It was a lot more. And today, those companies who deep dive into those problems change that industry, change the way we consume content. And some of those companies who were in that business aren't anymore because they were so focused on their solution and they couldn't see and they couldn't anticipate what could happen in a year or 2 or 3. So what can you do about it? One thing is sure, you need to be informed, because today you can no longer work in one industry and follow the trends from that industry, because industries are overlapping. Companies from one industry are here to jump into your playground. And not only that, but pioneers of customers' experience are setting up the benchmark. So when you build your solution, the expectations are set up with the best companies in the world. Your customer wants the same or even better customer experience. And that's why you need to be informed. You can start that today by applying for relevant sources of information. You can start by organizing monthly meetings with your team where every month somebody else would cover a different topic. And that could inspire you to do your work better. The second thing is the case of changing customer needs. I have two examples here. One example is local. I heard of it a few days ago, and it was really interesting for me. So bed and breakfasts and hostels, their business has crashed after the corona and everything that happened. So they had their solution, and they had the option to sit down and do nothing, or to search for new opportunities. What other problem can my solution solve? And at the same time, something else happened. Due to the earthquake, there's a deficit of apartments in Zagreb, and a lot of students was having trouble finding an apartment. So the bed and breakfasts didn't change their solution, they just tweaked it a little bit and targeted toward a different direction. The other example that I would like to share is one of my examples. A few years ago, I worked on the website for one credit card institution. And one of the challenges that we had was that website wasn't performing because customers weren't feeling good to apply and buy financial products online. But on the other hand, they expected that because in all other industries, they had that click, click, and it's done. And we wanted to build a simple website. Credit card companies usually have different flavors of the same product, like 10 of them. And we wanted to focus on just one, to make it easier for customers to make a decision. But we had a challenge because we had to convince all the other stakeholders that that's the way to go, that we don't need to show 10 different products, we need to show one. So how did we do it? First, we organized a focus group. We started to talk with customers in order to really understand why do they go to bank? What is it that makes their decision easier? What's not relevant for their decision? And to understand their process of deciding and their need. And here we got a hypothesis. And it goes something like this. So they told us that once we put a lot of versions of the product in front of them, they feel that they are not smart enough and they don't have knowledge to decide. In the bank, they have advisor. On the website, they don't. They sometimes even consult with their friends. So they said to us, less is more. The other thing that we did was we needed to confirm that hypothesis with wider range of customers. So we did a survey in order to gather numbers to support that hypothesis. And the third thing that we did was we built prototypes, a simple mock-ups where we can test two approaches, to offer them everything we have and to offer them this one simple solution, a flow that is simple and doesn't have unnecessary information. And that's how we gathered data, and that's how we understood what they want, and that's how we convinced everybody else to build a simple website. The website had great results, and it even got an award for the best website in Croatia that year. So what can we learn from this example? One of the most important things is to start testing as early as possible in the process. Start getting the customer input early as you can. And it doesn't need to involve investing a lot of money. You can go on the street and just talk with strangers. I did that for one project in Vienna. At first it was a little bit uncomfortable, but then it got more normal. You can talk with your friends, with your family, just to understand what is that they think and what problem do they have. There are also a lot of tools, free tools on website where you can do the A/B testing of your products or your copyright in order to see whether your message is clear enough. And try to develop a culture of experimenting. Because if you fail on a small scale, it won't hurt so much. A few years ago, we wanted to do a project of gamification, but we didn't want to do a big thing because we wanted to measure the impact. So we did just a small puzzle of it. We implemented it into our app in order to validate the idea. Does this approach increase customer experience and how much? And does it have a positive impact on our revenue? We didn't see the results, so we dropped that idea. And finally, we saved us some money and time because we didn't invest in something that wasn't gonna make success as we expected. The third thing is, is the thing when you have an idea, you invested it, you put it on the market, and then it doesn't work. And the world is full of that kind of solutions. If you just Google it, you will ask yourself, who invented this? Why did they invent this? So the thing and the case connected to that is also a case about pitching ideas. It's the same problem in behind. So last few years ago, I had the opportunity to listen a lot of pitches and presentations of idea. And the thing that I noticed is that often people come to present their idea and they start by explaining the idea itself. And in order to grab somebody's attention, you need to start with the problem. What problem are you solving? What impact do you expect to have on the business? What is the potential of that idea? And then when you show all those things and then come with your idea, it's a lot likely that you will have attention that you need. And it's the same when you go into the process of developing idea. If you expect numbers, results, you need to start with numbers, with insights, with market sizing, with potential, with impact. And then if you do this right, maybe you will understand that the effort you need to invest won't do the impact that you need, or it will be the other way around. What can you do in order to prevent this? As I said, do market research. In every presentation that you do, start with insight. Why are we doing this? Like this year, kids started to use devices and they spend more time on the internet. And that was the insight for us to push one of our products that we have, and it's called Internet Protection for Children, because it was the right context, the right moment. You as a parent saw your child on the internet, and it was the solution that you needed at the moment. So we come to this. It sounds simple, doesn't it? Fall in love with the problem. It's important, it's always important, but it's especially important this year, because this year, something that we couldn't anticipate it happened. And it's changed a lot of things. It's changed the way we work. It's changed the way we travel. It's changed the way we spend time. And you know that a lot of companies had to shut down. But the companies who were always focused on the problem and the customer were the ones who reacted faster, who had no problem by turning in the other way and bringing new solutions and responding to new problems. The companies who were really attached to solution found it difficult to respond to all those changes. And the other thing is, as I said, it sounds simple. And last 15 years, or I don't know how many, we go to conferences and we hear all those buzzwords: customer experience, customer centricity, customer, customer, customer. But then again, when we look around ourselves, we are surrounded with companies that don't deliver that customer experience, that make us feel weird, that make us feel that we don't want to interact with them. Although there are more and more, every day there are more and more examples of companies who are really successful in that area. But there are a lot of them who are not. And why is that? It is simple. We talk about it, and then again, we can deliver it. I believe it's because it's not only about the research, about the solution and tweaking it. It's about the culture. And imagine if you put this in your company's values, fall in love with the problem. Then you would inspire your employees to experiment, to fail, to go out there, to talk with customers, to get that connection. And it's the matter of the mindset. And those two things are hard things. So sometimes the simple concept, behind the simple concept, there's a long way to do it, and the complex process that involves jumping over some walls. And we shouldn't underestimate that. And that leads me to my last story today. So till now, we've discussed how falling in love with trap, I'm sorry, falling in love with the solution can do us harm. Now I would like to focus on how falling in love with the problem can make you see all the other opportunities that are around you. Because if you're always researching customer behavior, then you might find the other opportunity for your solution. The opportunity where your solution wouldn't just solve the problem, the opportunity where it would add value. And for this, I will use one private story. But I would like to share it with you because it's the story that inspires me every time I share it with somebody, and it's the story from which I learned a lot. And I can use those learnings on every aspect of my life, not just business. So, you see, this is a story about the bricks, but it's also a story about the opportunities, about the needs, about the possibilities, about the relationships. So, 7 years ago, I bought an apartment in the wider center of the city in an old building from 30s. Building has 4 floors, no elevator. It also has a shared garden with neighbors. And last 7 years, we used to sit on our balcony and watch that garden and imagine how would it be if we redecorated it. We could go with our kid and he could play there. We can drink coffee. We can even have garden parties with our friend. But in 7 years, we never made that first step in making that happen. And to be honest, I think we didn't have a need. We were okay with drinking our coffee on our balcony, going somewhere out with our friends, and going to park with our kids. And then 2020 came, and it came along with the earthquake and pandemic at the same time. And our buildings suffered damage, as a lot of buildings in the center of the city. And to be precise, our chimneys crashed. So we found ourselves in the situation where we had a lot of bricks on our rooftop. And one of the most common solution was to hire somebody and to pay them to take those bricks out. But my husband said, like, Eva, those bricks are almost 100 years old, and they served one purpose, and they're okay. We can use them to build a grill in our garden. So one day he gathered his friends, and they helped him move down the bricks. As the lockdown was up, our neighborhood started to gather in the garden and drink coffee. And till that time, our relationship with them was hi, bye. So we didn't talk, we didn't connect it with them. And they were, one of them was skeptical, what are you doing with those bricks? And he said, I want to build a grill. But there were other neighbors who liked that idea, and 10 days from that moment, we had our grill with the brick 100 years old. So we used that damage and we gave it a new life. And what happened is that brick served its purpose, and now it's changed its purpose. We made grill with a brick, and then we changed our garden with that grill. And finally, our garden changed the relationship with our neighbors. We became friends. We started to have garden parties. We started to drink coffee together. And all that had a positive impact of the value of our apartment. Because if we accept the earthquake, of course, if we decide to sell our apartment, today we are selling the apartment with beautiful green secret oasis in the middle of it. We are selling the apartment where relationships in the building are good, are great, and you know that's not so common today. And if you take that story and those learnings and put it in the business context, it would sound something like this. Your solution maybe is working today, but all around you, opportunities lie where your solution can add value. And those situations can even strengthen your relationship with your customers. So 2020 was different. It was tough on us. It was unpredictable. But there's a saying that sometimes you need to fall in order to grow bigger. And that depends on you, on your reaction on things that are happening around you, and on your approach to life, in everything in your life. Because opportunities are there. You just need to look in the right direction. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Iva. Can we sit down for a second?
Yes.
Yeah, we just have a few questions. So I really like the grill stories. Maybe I will even join your family to put something on the barbecue. I'm just kidding. But I agree with this completely. You know, the Take Action initiative is all what this is all about. The entire LIP Summit about entrepreneurial opportunities, and that not every solution is maybe, even though it's the right one, as you said it here at the end, that it's not maybe the right one in 1 year time. I'm just paraphrasing here. But let me ask you, how was your summer? Did you enjoy the garden?
Yeah, we really enjoyed it.
Yeah?
Like cocktails in the evening, coffee during the day.
Great. But can you, let's say, put this solution or fell in love, as you said, with the solution or the problem as a trap? can you draw the line somewhere in your own business case, like a specific example where in your own experience you fell in love with the solution but it wasn't quite right, and maybe if there is something that is connected to this year's COVID pandemic?
It's
It is a
hard
tough one. It is a tough,
It's a
tough
tough
one.
one. Yeah, there is one time when we build a product and we build it on the insights that customers, that youth, that kids have a problem with writing and correct writing. I cannot find the word. And we took that insight, it was a great insight, and we built the product. And we were so excited about the product, but it had a peak, and then after it, it went down. And we started right, we started with the insight, but we didn't really fell for that insight. We didn't build around it, and it was a great insight. Education is a great way how to approach youth, and smart is sexy, so there are really big opportunities, but we kind of liked the solution and we were happy about it, but it didn't really jump on the problem itself.
Okay, and what was your reaction while reading the charts that it went up and it went down? Did you had were you able to modulate the product, or did you modulate yourself in this particular case?
I would say not the product, but the process. Last few years, and especially last few months, we are really working hard on setting the environment that will enable us not to make those kind of mistakes. So we are setting environment where we are pitching to each other ideas in order to be sure that the right idea will go on the market. And we are doing all that. We are trying to motivate people to give feedback, to challenge each other, to kind of put the idea on the table and then start shooting and try to see whether it makes sense.
Okay, can we maybe draw a conclusion based on the statement you just made, that maybe there is one solution, but there are so many ways you can tackle the process. There are so many different directions where you can get to that solution.
Yeah, the process. There are so many ways to get, and there are so many methodologies that help you, so many different tools that help you, and there are also so many different solutions for the same problem.
Okay, great. I think this is a really good message in addition to all that you said and shared with us today. So all of you who are here and all of you who are watching at home, just remember there's so many possible things you can do with one solution, with one goal, and don't give up, right?
Yeah,
you cannot
don't
give up.
No, never.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for the
you.
lovely presentation. Thank you for the advices.
Thank you.
One huge applause for Iva. Thank you.
Thank you.